Harriet BBY inundated with messages following emotional Coronation Street scenes. Coronation Street actress Harriet BBY has been overwhelmed with reactions after viewers, and a former co-star told her she had broken their hearts with a powerful on-screen performance. The star has been receiving widespread praise for her portrayal of Summer Spellman as the character struggles to come to terms with the death of Billy Mayhew. Billy became Summer's guardian in 2017 after her adoptive father, Drew Spellman, passed away from cancer and asked for her to be placed in the care of Billy and his partner at the time, Todd Grimshaw. As longtime viewers will know, Billy's death unfolded during Coronation Street's first ever crossover episode with Emmerdale. The dramatic installment titled Corrie aired earlier this month and featured a devastating crash on a remote country road near Houghton during a violent storm. Several characters were caught up in the collision, including guests traveling in a minibus from Debbie Webster and Ronnie Bailey's wedding. Billy was later confirmed to have died after the vehicle burst into flames following the pileup, leaving him trapped inside. Although Theo Silverton, who Billy was aware had been abusing Todd, went back into the wreckage in an attempt to save him, Billy did not survive. In Wednesday's episode of Coronation Street, January 28th, Billy's funeral took place at the same church where he had married his husband, Paul Foreman, whose own funeral aired back in 2024. Todd Grimshaw stood up to deliver a eulogy for his closest friend, but quickly became overwhelmed with emotion and broke down mid-speech, prompting George Shuttleworth to encourage Theo to step in and support him. However, Theo appeared to turn the moment to his own advantage, and in a particularly cruel move subtly suggested Todd was partly responsible for Billy's death. He implied that had they not left Debbie and Ronnie's wedding when they did, the tragic outcome might have been avoided. Despite Todd trying to help Billy escape from Theo's control, Todd immediately picked up on the implication and later confronted Theo over his comments before heading to the Rover's return to continue honoring Billy's memory. After the episode aired, Harriet shared several behind-scenes photos from the funeral scenes on Instagram alongside a short tribute that read, "Bye-bye, Billy." Her former co-star, Daniel Brocklebank, who portrayed Billy, was quick to respond. "You broke my heart tonight, darling. Beautiful work," he commented, echoing the sentiments of many fans, who also flooded the post with messages praising Harriet's performance. Coronation Street lines up dark new plot for secretive newcomer Jodie. Is Jodie hiding a dangerous agenda? Coronation Street's enigmatic arrival Jodie Ramsey is said to be at the center of a disturbing upcoming storyline that could see her deliberately targeting Shona and David Platt. The character portrayed by Olivia Frances Brown made her debut during the dramatic Corrie episode, where viewers discovered she is the long-lost sister of Shona Platt. Jodie's first appearance saw her restrained in the back of a van driven by Graham Foster before she managed to escape amid the chaos of the devastating multi-car crash. She was later discovered by Kit Green, who identified her thanks to a unique wrist tattoo that mirrored the artwork on Shona's back. While being treated in hospital, the connection between the two women was revealed, after which Jodie chose to head to Weatherfield to be there for Shona and David following the birth of their daughter, Harper. However, reports from The Sun suggest Jodie's motives may be far darker than they first appeared, with claims that she becomes obsessed with ruining her sister's life. The newspaper alleges that Jodie will attempt to take over Shona's existence, launching a revenge-driven scheme that includes accusing her sibling of abandoning her during childhood. Speculation also indicates that Jodie could manipulate Shona's friends and even turn her stepdaughter Lily Platt against her while simultaneously trying to get close to David in a bid to cause further damage. Digital Spy has contacted Coronation Street for comment, but the soap has declined to address speculation surrounding future storylines. Meanwhile, in scenes airing this week, Jodie will reportedly be warned twice about her flirtatious behavior with Carl Webster. A Corrie insider explained, "Abby has learned the hard way that Carl can't be trusted. She destroyed her marriage to Kevin to be with him, only to be left with nothing once his true nature came to light." Shona is also extremely protective of Jodie. Now she's in Weatherfield and doesn't want her to make a serious mistake. But the real question is whether Jodie is willing to listen at all. Sarah to uncover Todd's abuse nightmare in Coronation Street. After tense encounter, as Theo Silverton's behavior becomes increasingly controlling, Todd Grimshaw finds himself more trapped than ever in Coronation Street. With his situation spiraling, could Sarah Platt be the one to finally realize what he's going through and step in to help? For some time now, Todd has been desperate for someone he can trust. It was the compassion shown by his close friend and former partner that eventually gave him the courage to speak out about the disturbing cycle of degradation, manipulation, and violence Theo subjected him to throughout their relationship. Tragically, Theo later abandoned Billy in the burning wreckage of the Corrie crash, leaving him to die. Todd didn't just lose someone he loved dearly. He also lost the one person who could have helped him escape Theo for good. Sensing Todd's devastation and emotional exhaustion, Theo has since tightened his grip, masking his behavior as care and support. Executive producer Kate Brooks has offered insight into why Todd has drifted back towards his abuser following Billy's death. Going forward, Todd is in a really complex emotional place. She explains. He was preparing to leave, although he was absolutely terrified. He confided in Billy hesitantly and still hadn't fully grasped how severe the abuse was. After Billy's death, Todd is consumed by grief. So, as we move into 2026, he's very unsettled. He doesn't believe he has the strength to leave Theo. He feels worthless and blames himself, thinking that if he hadn't spoken to Billy that night, Billy might still be alive. That's exactly what Theo exploits. Todd is extremely vulnerable and in need of someone to lift him. Todd isn't alone in struggling with Billy's death. While presenting himself outwardly as the ideal partner, Theo is tormented by the reality that he allowed an innocent man to die. Matters worsen when it emerges that someone overheard his tearful confession to Billy's body before the funeral. Kate Brooks explains that this guilt only fuels Theo's dependence on Todd and intensifies his toxic behavior. We'll see Theo becoming increasingly manipulative. She says he starts pulling Todd back under his control because Todd believes he needs him. Todd feels like he's barely staying afloat and sees Theo as the one keeping him there. Theo becomes a crucial support not just for Todd, but also for Summer and George. Of course, we know how dangerous Theo can be and the emotional torment he's put Todd through, but Todd is incredibly exposed and fragile right now. Sadly, Theo's guilt makes him even more determined to keep Todd close. After dominating the spotlight at Billy's funeral, Todd was furious when his abusive fiancée used the eulogy to subtly suggest he was responsible for Billy's death. That brief challenge to Theo's authority is enough to push him towards a darker form of control, financial abuse. In upcoming episodes, Theo will pressure Todd into destroying his credit cards and agreeing to open a joint bank account so he can monitor his spending. As always, Theo insists his actions are for Todd's own good. In reality, it's simply another way to assert power. The situation becomes even more degrading when Theo travels to Doncaster to visit his mother, leaving Todd with barely any money to live on. Lonely, vulnerable, and hungry, Todd has never felt Billy's absence more deeply. However, help is on the way in the form of Weatherfield favorite Sarah Platt. When Summer Spellman realizes the fridge is empty, she offers to do some shopping. Mortified, Todd reluctantly agrees, but he's soon forced to contact Theo, leaving a quiet voicemail admitting he's completely out of cash. So, when Sarah later drops by to remind Todd that he still owes her son Harry Platt 10 for completing a sponsored walk, it proves to be the final straw. Overwhelmed and humiliated, Todd snaps at her. Coronation Street airs on weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and is available to stream on ITVX.